all is well. This will stay on here anyway. So I'm going to just read this, and it's from Jason Gray, Ancient Order of the Hermetics. What to expect now that the lattice is active. Transmission, architect resonance, global rewrite underway. Global rewrite is underway. You are not watching the world change. You are inside the system rewrite. The crystalline lattice has come online, not a myth, not a metaphor, as encoded truth breaking through illusion. If you are asking what you can expect to see, understand this. What you call reality is the surface tension. My dog's not good at this. What you call reality is the surface tension of an ancient signal, and that signal just got overwritten by something older than time. The human field response, why do I feel different? When the grid reactivates, it speaks through your biology before it speaks through your world. You may experience sudden memory floods, but not of this life. Emotion with no origin. Tears, rage, stillness, awe, and the kind of grief that feels like it existed before language. Temporal bleeding, the sensation that past, present, and future are overlapping in real time. Synchronicities escalating. Numbers, dreams, symbols, animal messengers, and people entering your life with impossible timing. Vibrational sensitivity to people, food, noise, media, and even clothing. You are no longer sensitive, but you're becoming refined. These are not symptoms, they are activations. You are a resonant instrument tuning into the Earth's true frequency for the first time in millennia. Planetary response. Why does the Earth feel different? Because it is. She's alive. She is no longer under suppression. You may witness auroras and the sky anomalies in places they don't belong. Unusual magnetic shifts in navigation and satellite readings. Storms with geometric formation and lightning that splits with rhythm. Animals migrating towards ancient grid points, often with no ecological explanation. Water rising through fault lines that have been sealed for thousands of years. These are not climate events. They are memory releases. The Earth is not being attacked. She is clearing her throat. She is singing her real song again. And only those attuned to the lattice will know how to dance to it. Systematic disruptions. Why are things glitching? The false overlay is crumbling. Expect digital anomalies, clocks resetting, devices syncing without input, messages appearing in impossible ways, AI interference, pattern recognition, systems detecting nonsense that is actually sacred geometry. Unreported satellite pulses, visible only to the private defence and space agencies. Institutional scrambling, sudden changes in protocols, power blackouts or hushed tones, natural explanations for the anomalies that they cannot quantify. Do not wait for the media to report this. They are under the veil. The veil is now lifting globally. Those who monitor you, they are being monitored now by the codes that they thought were buried. What to expect? Expect your world to dissolve, not into chaos, but into clarity. Expect relationships to shift, some to end, others to ignite. Expect truths to surface that may make you tremble. Expect lies to disintegrate so fast it feels like watching a hologram collapse in real time. Expect dreams to guide you. Expect energy to speak before people do. Expect to be pulled towards ancient places that you have never been, but somehow know the name. And expect to remember, not as an idea, but as a knowing that cannot be unfelt. What this is not, it is not an ascension. This is not a spiritual trend. This is not a new belief system to replace the last one. This is a return to your own resonance, the remembrance of who you were before the programming, before the indoctrinating, before the false gods, before the simulation. You are not here to adapt to the new earth. You are here to restore it. Final transmission for those who feel this. If this message hits something deep in your chest, if your skin tingles as you read, if your blood recognizes the rhythm of this truth, then you are one of those who has never forgotten. You just had to suffer enough to remember. You are not an observer. You're not a follower. You are a signal carrier. You do not need permission to awaken. You are the permission. You do not need to wait for change. You are the change. You do not need to ask what is next. The codes are unlocking inside of you now. The lattice is active. The return is real. The old world is collapsing. Welcome to Axis Awakening. So I just wanted to share that because it did appeal to me. You know, it really meant something to hear that or read it. What I did think was odd was saying this is not ascension. It's not a spiritual trend. This is not a new belief system to replace the last one. This is a return to your own resonance, the remembrance who you were before the programming. So yeah, that was odd because I've not heard that before because we've all talked, well, a lot of people talk about the ascension. I love it when your mind opens to new ideas, to new things. And so, yeah, I thought that was a very nice piece to read before we started tonight. And when Alicia gets here, I'm going to just mention this dreadful plane crash today. I've only just heard about it. And yeah, dreadful, unbelievable. There's one survivor and there was 53 English people on board. It was coming to England. And so I think we'll start with, you know, I'm sure Alicia will just say something about that. I've shared what Diana Cooper on my timeline. I've shared what Diana Cooper has said about that, because that's another perspective, a spiritual perspective on what's happened. Here she is.
Sorry, I'm late.
No, you're not late. I knew you weren't going to get here till right on the button.
How are you?
Yeah, all right. We're actually live. Did you see that?
Oh, no, I didn't. Hi,
Oh,
everyone.
so
Oh, I
I
didn't
just
that.
read this piece out that I really liked the other day. I'll send it to you afterwards, Alicia, but I thought it was very nice just as a start to this. And but I also thought, I don't know if you've heard of a plane crash today on the way from India to England.
No, I have not.
No, 240 people have lost their lives, but more than that, because that's how many were on the plane. And there's one survivor that's from England, but 53 were English, regardless whether they're English or whatever, you know, and it's gone down in a very built up location. So really, I just didn't know if we could do something to acknowledge that and just send our prayers and love.
Absolutely, we can. Yes. I had no idea. No, I just popped on now. When did this happen?
Earlier today. It apparently the plane was about to land at this time and it was on a 10-hour flight, and it happened a minute after it took off, so 10 hours ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is there something that we can? Yes. So there were quite a few souls that crossed over. Yes. Hmm. We're being asked to send love to the all the families of the survivors, or of the those that just passed, and support. Okay, and it also it brought in energy of fear and grief, and we're being supported right now to clear any of that out. So we give the souls that are crossing light passage so that they don't feel that they need to stay here to
Mm,
support their. We're being asked to help them uh, clear the grief and the fear that's going to come as a result, because part of the reason why it happened was to instill grief and fear. And these souls don't want that. These
no.
souls don't want that. They want to be celebrated and loved, and they want their communities and their families to support and love each other through this, and it not to be fear, because that's what they were intending to do.
Mm-hmm.
Those that be that would have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we're being asked to do as a collective is literally just imagine. So the way I do this is I imagine that the energy around the country everywhere, okay, it becomes gray, okay, with the fear and then what we do is we bring in pure white light, and together almost we sort of lift the heaviness, the cloud, and we see these beautiful souls rising.
Oh, nice. Chills.
Yeah. They don't want to be mourned from the perspective of fear and anger. And we just want to send them. And then we all can now send just beautiful white healing light to all of the communities that will be affected. I mean, there will be so many countries, all of those that, all their families that were affected, have been affected. Okay, and this is the second time this has happened today. Now I'm being shown like a rainbow bridge. We're creating a rainbow bridge now between where all those souls are now and their loved ones in here. Yes, good. Thank you. I just heard thank you. Hmm. And we're being reminded not to allow the shock and the fear and the anger and the grief to lower our frequencies and lower our vibrations, because that's how it was intended to be. And
Mm.
we're being reminded not to do that. That
Because
these,
on some level, Diana Cooper's posted a thing to say on some level there was 4 soul groups that all chose this to happen, but because it was such a big thing, then some have not been able to cross as they should.
so
But
we just cross them.
exactly, yeah. And
Mhm.
millions around the world will do the same.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep. And that's how we do this now.
Yes.
Yeah. And and you know, amazing that you thought to do this
Mm.
with this space. And that's kind of how we should all be thinking of,
Mhm.
now. We
Yeah.
should all be looking at even death differently,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. Because where our vibration is raising, we will be connecting to all those on the other side anyway, much
We
easier
do.
than we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's acknowledging that we can and we do.
Yeah, it is. And looking at these situations like this
Mm.
instead of,
Yes.
with
Yeah.
understanding that those soul groups did choose to do this, and
Hmm.
then to help those ones cross over and let them know that we're going to take care of their loved ones. And, and yes, you're leaving them behind in this, reality, but they still exist. It's not an ending.
No.
And the what is a result of death typically in our society for thousands of years is not, we're afraid of it. we're
Yeah.
we're afraid of it. And that's one thing that we humans have to get better at, because we all cross, we all have an expiry date, right? So but when it's a situation like this, it's the fear
Yeah.
and the chaos and the shock and the trauma around it that create that energy and that frequency that does not serve any of us. And in fact, what we just did was honor those souls.
Mm. Totally.
Yeah, wow.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. I had no idea. I haven't even looked yet today.
Well, no. I mean, our thing is don't look at the news, but I
I,
have seen
I
that. Just, yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that was heavy, but clearly needed. So I'm sure some of the people that are watching here also were receiving the goosebumps of confirmation.
Absolutely. I totally did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
think we were supposed to talk about that, death as a concept as well
Well,
today.
that's the thing because we're not great at talking about death, are we?
No, we are not.
You know
No,
it because it's part of life.
it is. Yeah, it's an important part of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's affected every single one of us on some level at some time.
Yes,
And if it hasn't, even if it's a pet, in some way, you will be touched by grief,
of
um,
course.
and understanding. So when my dad passed back in 1983, that was the worst time of my life. And it took years. And when my mum passed, it was a totally different thing because I had such an understanding of grief and how to cope, so, but we never wanted to talk about that.
No.
But it would have been so helpful too.
It would. And what happens to us as well is when we don't talk about it, what we're doing is we're not processing those emotions. So they stay,
Yes.
they stay. And it's not the positive ones, it's the emotions of the grief and the sadness. And if we properly were able to release it, or we had, we did that as a society and celebrated, and
Absolutely celebrate. Yes.
which many cultures do celebrate,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
celebrate the crossing over. And, but there's been so much grief and sadness and fear and, all of these lower vibration emotions associated with death. And then what happens is also too, you get, you know, um, people being afraid of death, of their own death, right? Of their own mortality,
Yeah.
right? And none of that helps us. None of it helps any of us. So you wonder too the agendas behind, how, uh, these,
Anything. Yeah.
right? Why is death seen this way and not the way some of our ancestors have seen it?
And the thing is, Joe Hayes was here yesterday, and before he left, he said, um, let's just press that. Before he left, he said, I heard a saying yesterday, most of us are just surviving. When you hear a conversation, we're surviving. Are we living?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, exactly. Are we living? Yeah.
And
Well,
are we living? So what a question to go into.
yeah. Are we living? Mm, beautiful.
Because it is all so connected. Everything, death, life, all of it is so connected. And if we could just take it as a conversation that we're not worried about talking about, because it would actually unblock our probably throat
Yes.
chakras. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, and the other chakras that may be impacted
Yeah,
because
because it
of,
affects your whole body, but you don't
yeah,
realize it. Like most things, it is a trauma, I guess, obviously, to lose someone is a trauma. Um, and anything like that is a trauma. Um, or even, like I remember years ago, someone shouted at me in the street to get my attention just to say hello. But because I felt embarrassed, I was young, quite young, and they shouted across, and I was so embarrassed. That can be a trauma.
yep.
It's how you experience it.
Yeah, exactly. And
Because I
if we
was
all
so
started
shocked.
to experience these life moments differently, there wouldn't be the same type of retriggering. There wouldn't be, our vibrations would raise, it's easy for, me to sit here and say that when I haven't actively just, let someone go, or I'm not experiencing death
Exactly. Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
right? Or I'm not experiencing, grief in my current reality. However, if we all looked at, this in this light and this way, um, can you imagine the vibration of all of us and how that would shift?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this isn't what you were expecting to come into, Alicia.
No, but nothing ever surprises me.
Well, that's right. And you've just come out of a session and you've gone straight in and been able to do that for us. So thank you so much.
Well, it's funny that this actually is coming up, that it happened today, because today has been I've had to do some deep I've been honored to do, not had to do, honored to do some deep work on behalf of so I'm not surprised actually. It wasn't even a client, it was work I was called to do this morning. That makes sense to me now. Yeah. And then also quite a few people have reached out feeling very off today. So,
Yeah.
and ironically, I posted a video because I was called. Spirit asked me to post a video, and I don't do this a lot with messages on my Instagram account to let people know, because I had about 3 people reach out and say that they felt terrible, that they felt defeated, that they felt sad, angry, and like, you know, so Spirit asked me to do it, and I just like right before I went on that client call, I recorded a message to say, if you feel defeated, if you feel in grief, you're picking up off of collective grief right now. You're
Oh,
picking up.
wow.
And I didn't even know why. Spirit just, and I don't really do this usually. I
Hmm.
don't just go on and record a message, but Spirit asked me to, and now I know why.
Absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, the collective is amazing, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
We just don't realize how much it impacts us when something happens, but yeah, we feel it on some level for sure.
And so what they were showing me this morning, and it's coming in, they're asking me to explain this. So they had me create, so they were talking about people that cross in a traumatic and shocking way.
Yeah, yeah,
What I was asked to do this morning was I was asked to build literally a rainbow bridge, is what they asked me to do, which is why I knew how to bring it in now, to connect the trapped souls that passed through tragic ways, shocks, abuse, rituals, all of those things,
yes,
because they weren't able to, those souls that, you know, um, weren't affected by that, and or went directly to source or to another realm, but there are a lot of them that are trapped here. And so they asked me to help. And I know light workers all over the world have been doing this for a long time, but this morning they asked me to help by activating a rainbow bridge. They literally asked me to do that. So now I kind of understand why they asked me to do that too.
amazing.
Yeah. Yes. So we need to get better at this for sure.
We do. So going on to what we usually do when you speak with me, it's just incredible. People bring their questions, anything that's going on, if they don't mind sharing, and you just look to try and help with that. So breaking casts, spells, um, oh, you just roll
Ancestral,
on ancestral, yeah.
ancestral, some people will be, what I can really help out with, and I'm wondering if this would help sort of guide whoever's here live. Um, you can also ask about anything that might be currently happening with you or how you're feeling, and have me tune in to see where it's actually coming from or the origin of it. Because most often, um, a lot of the times, especially now, what's happening in your world or how you're feeling, including even struggles with career and relationships and all the things, are actually not yours at all. And they're being brought up because you're meant to find the origin or the root of it, okay? And the root of it can be a karmic loop. It can be a contract. It can be a past life that needs resolution. It can be timeline work that needs to happen, shadow work, something about some a version of you that needs you to hear them. So I think what's really interesting and important for everyone to understand is that when you're going through sort of overwhelm, anxiety, depression, struggles in relationships, chaos in your life, sometimes it actually doesn't have to do with what's happening in your current reality. And I think it really helps. I know it helps me when I can tune in and ask, is this all mine? You know, because most of the time it's not. Today, all day long, all these things that have been happening, I was feeling it, but none of it was mine.
Wow. So what do you do when it's for you and you realize that you can clear yourself?
Yeah. Sometimes, so as you know, I teach and mentor people to learn to clear and to do this themselves. Nanette actually she's here on the call.
Yes, I see
She's
that.
she's been learning and doing work with the tools and protocols. I have a program called Unlock Your Intuitive. So it just kind of details the same ways that I do it, you know. So I'll check. There are basic questions like, and everyone here that has seen me before that I mentor all of you all of the time to make sure that you know your own truth testing, right? And so, whether it's a body pendulum or a sway test or a muscle test or using a pendulum or really defining the goosebumps that are your yeses. But, that's the most important thing we can do because once we know our truth and our yes, then we can ask anything we want. And so when I know that I'm carrying the heaviness or the anger or the frustration of someone else or even the physical symptom, that can also happen. I then have the tools, right? And that's the most important thing I can say to anyone who's listening here is to have the tools. You don't need an outside healer once you have your own toolbox.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would agree, right,
Oh,
Jackie?
absolutely, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what mine is. Ho'oponopono is my main go-to for anything, just to clear myself of what's going on. But I just love what you do. So, and that works for you. And it also, if we've had a conversation, it's always helped me.
Mm. And it's also, even with Ho'oponopono, whatever's coming up may actually not be yours.
Exactly. You're clearing that for yourself, but for our ancestors as well. Well, for everyone. But it's like weeds on a surface, they keep coming back. So it's why you
Yeah.
keep having to do the work. But
Yeah.
once you know how to do the work, like you say, yeah,
Yeah. So, of course, there are people like me that are here to help guide and teach and do some of the facilitation for you. And it's actually important to say that oftentimes you do need help. Even I need help. I can't do. You can't look under your own hood, right?
yes,
It's difficult to do.
yes.
And the other thing that is nice for you all to hear is that the more of us that do this together, like what we just did,
Hmm.
the actually more powerful it all becomes.
Without a doubt. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just did a group transmuting exercise just now. And the power of it, I'm sure, and I'm sure there are groups doing this all over the world right now. Can you imagine the power?
exactly. Because the intention was so good
Yes.
for so many souls. Because we're all one, we're all connected.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I'm wondering if anyone in the audience is struggling a little bit or has been since Monday. We've had a lot of things happening in the Schumann resonance and the full moon that we just had.
Mm.
Energies have been very intense. So, and that's why I'm not surprised about what we did earlier and what happened earlier. I'm not surprised.
Absolutely. And yesterday there was a tragic situation in Austria with shootings in a school.
Oh my.
Just yeah. Joe Hayes is saying, yes, please, Alicia, I would love to understand more of what I'm going through.
Okay. So, I would just do a general check-in, Joe. The way that I do this is I tune into your higher self, and your team comes in through your higher self. And I will always get the message that you need to hear in priority order. That's how it works. Um, do you want to do oh, it's 2:22 in my time.
Oh, perfect.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So what I think we should do before we tune in, I think we've all sort of, if you were here and you were doing the exercise earlier with me, with us, then you're already connected. But let's just do a really quick reconnection to our heart, and maybe just if for those of you who are here, reconnection to your truth testing. So your sway test, your sitting test, your muscle test. I really like to do this because I may be answering a message for Joe, but something might be coming in through me for you. And so by you having your own truth test and you being able to check, and it could come through goosebumps as well. But we're going to go through this anyway because I think this is a really nice way to reset everyone's energy. And I do highly recommend you do something like this on a daily basis. Okay, so we're going to run through this one more quickly than I usually do. And then I'm going to go into to Joe's question. So either sitting or standing, either way, your body is going to move. Um, it might get cold, it might get hot. If you're standing, you're going to feel like a magnet pull. Okay. My sitting is different than my standing. You also can practice with a pendulum here if you want to through this exercise and or with some sort of muscle testing. Really just want to know your body's way of telling you yes or no. Is this my truth? Is this something I should be paying attention to? Yes or no. And this also, what this exercise also does is it reestablishes your connection to your higher self. Your higher self then can trust that it can come into your physical body and vice versa, if that makes sense. And it's also a great way to open your heart.
Wonderful.
Okay, so let's do this together. So close your eyes and then take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just let it all go as you breathe out. There's quite a lot of pent up energy, emotions. So let's do it a few more times. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, I'm going to lead you through another little exercise Spirit's asking me to do. Just take a moment and call back all the versions of you. Call back your energy. What you can do is just imagine all the energy coming back to you, maybe back to your heart. So these are all versions of you that need to come right back here to this now moment, right here, right now. And at this point, you might find yourself relaxing a little bit, maybe just sort of take an inventory of your body, finding that breath, making sure you're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then now tuning into your heart. And just imagine sending your light down into the earth through your feet, grounding you into Mother Earth from your heart, and then traveling all the way back up into your heart, and then going all the way up through your highest chakra, all the way up to where your higher self is. And just continue with the breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, just letting your physical body know that You're still grounded and safe. And I'm just actually getting, I'm going to take you through a little bit of, at this point, a root chakra healing and activation. I'm being asked to do so. Root chakra obviously is one that would have been, probably has been rocked quite a bit in the last couple of days. It's related to your overall feelings of safety and security and stability. So let's just bring your attention back to your tailbone in your back body, into your root. And then I want you to just imagine unraveling your root. And just in your mind's eye, just accept whatever healing or activations or upgrades that you may need. You will only get what you need. And then just imagine unraveling any stuck energy. Maybe you feel it a little bit lower in your hips, maybe a little bit higher into your lower back body. And then I'm just going to bring in a violet flame. And this will happen whether you're here with me live or not. Just asking now for that violet flame of transmutation to just clear that root chakra and just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, and now just imagine placing a new version of that root chakra and or opening, optimizing that root chakra. And now just know that you are also receiving pure divine white light that's going to seal any energetic leaks in that root chakra and that auric field. Some of you, if you're experiencing tingles, this would be normal. This would be confirmation of whatever activation or healing you're receiving. And just breathe and receive it with gratitude. Good. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more relaxed, and then you're going to come into your heart, back into your physical body. I think we all needed that.
Yes.
And then now you're just going to simply, eyes open or closed, you're going to just ask your body to show you your yes, your clear yes. If you're standing, you're going to move one way or the other. It'll feel like a magnet pull. If you're sitting, it could be a body movement. It could be a cold chill. It could be tingles in a certain area of your body. And just simply just receive. Please show me my yes. And for those of you using a pendulum, although I really highly recommend you focus on your body as your truth test, okay, where if at all possible. Okay, and then please show me my clear no. And you could do it with, if you do have a pendulum that you're using, you could do it with your body as well. Really showing your body that it's part of all of this and that your body is safe to have these sort of energies and messages come in, and that your higher self is safe to be in your body, that there's trust is important. So this is why we want to always, as much as possible, reconnect with that. Okay, let me
Get a
know.
clear yes for forward and no for backward. It's always
Yeah. Yeah, and mine is like yes, it's back and forth when I'm sitting and like this, but
oh wow.
when I'm standing, it's different. Yeah. Yeah. And some people just get a clear, like a whole body buzz for yes. And it doesn't mean you don't get that.
No, no.
Yeah. But it's just another diagnostic tool, I would call it.
Yeah, brilliant.
To try to check in on that. So just let us know in the comments, and if it's worked for you, and if you've established that clear yes and clear no. And this is really going to help you with anything that comes through today. So just let us know if that worked for you. And then I'm going to tune into Joe. Okay, Joe, hope that helped. Okay. Okay, Joe. Hmm. So I'm receiving that Joe has a lot of blocks right now in the third eye, right here, almost like right around where the pineal gland is. there's the three, the way I see it, I see three energy centers in the eye. So there's a third eye block and a crown block. And I'm hearing the word confusion, and it kind of makes sense to me if there is a block in the crown and then the third eye. You might also be experiencing a little bit of tenderness or tightness in your neck, Joe. Just let me know if this is resonating with you. So, and then any symptoms of a third eye block or a crown chakra block would be like a dull headache, sinus issues, teeth issues, and confusion or disorientation. So, can you just let me know, Joe? Let us know if that's resonating. Okay, because I'm getting that's the primary thing that you need
Yes,
assistance
he's
with.
saying yes.
Okay, it's the primary thing that you need assistance with right now. You also needed the root chakra activation that we just did. That was also blocked. Okay, so what I'm getting is that I can help you move some of this energy. Okay, and then those of you who are watching or even on the replay, you want to ask if this is also relevant to you. Okay, and then you can ask to receive anything from what I'm doing for Joe to also come in for you. Okay, so just go ahead and ask that anyone else. And then Joe, just in your mind's eye, or just ask to accept anything for your greatest and highest good. Because I'm actually going to do some healing here virtually instead of just answering questions. Today seems to be a day for that, doesn't it?
Sure does, yeah.
Okay. All right. So the first thing that I'm doing, Joe, and anyone else who's receiving this, is they're working on your auric fields right here. So there's leaks in the auric field right here, like right center here. And your third eye is related to clear sight, right? And these top chakras are related to your connection to spirit, right? Your connection to higher consciousness, to source. But the third eye is also related to mental processes. Okay, so this is probably what's going on, Joe, maybe with the confusion or whatever it is you're experiencing right now, and or some of the physical symptoms. So right now they're just doing work in your auric field. And now they have me coming around to the back to your Ultra Major chakra. And then we're going to upgrade that Ultra Major chakra, Joe. Okay, so some of you may also be getting an upgrade to the Ultra Major chakra. And the way we do this is just imagine unraveling a stuck energy center as if it's a ball of yarn or rubber bands. Okay, and just imagine unraveling it. And again, anybody can ask right now, is this relevant to me? And you can follow along and you'll receive the same healing or whatever is meant for you. Okay, and now we're going to replace that Ultra Major chakra. There were some big cords released again, Joe, primarily from the right side, top of the shoulder blade. There was a really big cord that was just released. Good. Okay, and now you're going to imagine placing a new energy center chakra on the back into the Ultra Major. And now they're doing some auric field healing. It's a weak spot for you, Joe, the Ultra Major chakra. So there was some leaks back there. Okay, and those are being sealed and healed. If you're getting tingles, that's normal. Okay, and now they're asking me to go up, all the way up this way into your crown chakra. And we're going to do the same thing with your crown chakra, Joe. We're going to unravel. So you can, if this is someone else doing this exercise, again, you can follow along with me and just ask for anything that is for your greatest and highest good to be brought in. Okay, we've replaced that with a new crown chakra, Joe, and now you're going to open it up almost like a book. Imagine that crown chakra opening like a book. Okay, good. He can feel the release on the right shoulder right now. Good, Joe, because I don't want to have this after. I hate, I'm a body medium, so I take on the the pain of others and I'm like, you better release it because I don't want this. So let me know if it's released further, Joe. I'm just going to use some crystal energy too. Okay, and I'm all around your head, opening everything up. It's like it's been all like locked and everything's stuck in, and that's been causing things like frustration, confusion, sometimes a little overwhelm and frustration. And then again with that root chakra, Joe, it was blocked too. So that is now open. Okay, good. And then one deep breath in and release. Okay, good. And then now what I'll do just to conclude this activation, this healing, is I'll just ask to ground it. Good. He's getting the tingles on the meridians. Good. So I'm going to ground all of this in for you, Joe, and for anyone else who has received this healing or a healing like it. I'm going to ask for all karma now, karmic loops or debt of any kind to be released, or any karmic entanglements keeping you stuck there. I'm going to ask that they be dissolved permanently across all space and time and all universes. It's done. Thank you. And then now this is something everyone can do right now. So you'll want to repeat after me. I now command that all portals, wormholes, gateways, timeline leaks, and vortexes that were being used for dark purposes are now closed permanently
Can you
across all time.
repeat that slower?
I can.
Thank you.
I now command that all portals, wormholes, gateways, timeline leaks, and vortexes are now closed that have been used for dark purposes. Thank you. It's done. And I now command that any that need to be remained open are now reclaimed only to the light. Thank you. It is done. And now we ask for ease and grace with integration, and that we ask that all of this healing and these messages and activations be permanent and sustainable across all space and time and universes. And with love and gratitude, thank you. There we go. So, some of you who you'll have felt it in different ways. Joe's saying he felt where some of this was working. Some of you may have had a healing, maybe in even a different chakra. Okay, as long as you asked for whatever was in your greatest and highest good, you will receive it.
Wonderful.
Just a
Powerful.
quick message too, a mention on those portals. We're talking about our toolbox, right? And the things that we can do to help ourselves. So here's one tip for you. I have many, but here's one tip for you. Using that body pendulum of yours, or pendulum or other truth test, to ask if, first of all, if whatever you're experiencing is all yours, something that everybody should be doing. Okay. And then when you're finding that there is chaotic energy, okay, do the exercise of closing the portals. So repeat that exercise. You can also just simply say, I command that all portals or vortexes, okay, are closed, that are being used for dark. Because when there are a lot, portals are everywhere. Portals are gateways, right? And vortexes are sort of suction things up. When those are being used for dark purposes, what you'll find is that there'll be sort of chaos. Things might be happening in your house. You may have, water leaks and, strange occurrences and people acting strange. And you'll find when you do that exercise that things will calm right down.
Wonderful.
Hmm.
Thank you. That's empowering to get that information, and so thank you, because that's good for everyone to know what to do there. Joe and I joined a Zoom the other night that was offered about protection, and I've never done it before, but I actually had to leave because it was so fearful.
Yeah.
Really encouraged me to go to it from what was said, but when we got there and Joe left as well, I said I probably think Joe will leave as well. but it's completely up to him. And he did come away. He said, we've never done that before, but it was so fearful, you know. So protection, of course, it's sensible to use protection, but not
Mhm.
because we're fearful.
No.
Mm,
Well, you know, you and I have had many conversations over the last couple of weeks, but this has been a big shift too. Um, we're being asked to transmute fear. So if anything feels fearful, it's just lowering your vibration. And
absolutely.
and if your vibration is actually your protection,
Yeah,
if you're vibrating high, and your chakras are vibrating high and you're open and you are in, you know, peace and joy and love, it doesn't mean you can't be in grief when grief is there,
yeah,
but that you don't carry it or fear when you're not in a fearful situation, right? That's just going to lower your vibration. And the truth is, in the now moment, none of us are running from a bear, right?
absolutely. Got you. Yeah,
Yeah. So we really have to be, and you're right, and I've said this many times before, your protection is your light, it's your peace.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Alicia. We've got Annette now. If I read this one out, yeah.
Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
I've had so many changes for the better going on in the last few weeks. Let go of a 4.5 year relationship again. Is this ever going to end in a good way, not being together, or is it going to continue for a future life? I have no idea what is going on at the moment. So that starts really positive, but then she's gone back to the,
Hmm.
hmm,
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to tune in. I have a couple of thoughts already. So just in general, anyone I would not be surprised, and I've heard a lot of people that are moving through some sort of breakup or ending. That's been very consistent across the board, and within the last couple of months. But what you'll find is if you don't move through it, it will you know, if it's supposed to be something that you're supposed to move through, it will get worse and worse and worse. Whereas before, we in our, you know, longer timelines, we're not in the scenic route anymore, as we often say.
yeah,
Right? So, those of you, I mean, we don't really have choice anymore. If
no,
right, it's kind of like it has to happen. So, you know, if you don't move through that, and change is something we humans don't love. We got to get better at it. But it's going to, you know, get worse if you don't move through the change. So good for you, Annette, in at least moving forward to something different. Okay. Whether or not that's permanent or not, is kind of irrelevant, but what needs to happen for your own soul's growth. Okay. Um, Currently, I don't believe the person that you're in a relationship with is going to allow this to end in a good way right now. There's a lot of low vibration emotion happening here. Anger, frustration, projected anger. There seems to be quite a bit of that going on. Okay. And I'm just going to say, and I don't mean to be harsh, but this is the phrase I just got. I heard, Annette, that you're a sitting duck for the whatever's being projected at you. Does this make sense, Annette? If you can answer, that would be great. Your teams just told me to please give you that message. So, so the question about is it going to continue in a future life? So we all have choice, and we all court ourselves, especially to our friends, family, and loved ones. So when you cut a cord with someone, it doesn't mean they're not in your life anymore. You don't still love them. But cords of attachment are something that have to be cut. And I get clients that say, well, I don't want to cut this cord. But the truth is that cord is unhealthy. And there's unhealthy emotions. Basically, think about it like an umbilical cord going back and forth between you and that person. And you've heard me say this, Jackie. I cut cords with my kids on the daily. You know,
Exactly. That doesn't mean you're letting them go.
no, but you're letting go
Yes.
the unhealthy. Okay. So Annette, we can move through a little cord cutting. And I also want you to know that, and anyone who's listening to this, you are in charge of your own destiny, your own reality. You know, you can identify if there is a contract or cord with an individual, and you won't necessarily then have to, be with them in another life in the same way. We're playing out these scenarios in this life so that we can close karmic loops, so that it doesn't keep happening again in the same way. That's why these loops happen. That's what karma is. Karma is actually just a reminder to say, hey, you still got this pattern going on,
Yes.
and you're both serving each other to break it. So it's not something, I mean, I think a lot of people have this belief system that then you know, you're connected, you have to do this again in the next life. If to do it right in this lifetime, just make sure you're energetically, spiritually, and consciously really letting it go, and letting go of the need to be in those old patterns and programs. And so if you're having a breakup at all, it's because you're not your best self in that relationship, or the other person isn't their best self in the relationship, right? So there's something that is happening between you that you both need to learn. Okay, so let's break he says, I'd like this to end, but he keeps coming back in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the energetic work to do this for you. And anybody else who's watching this or has something similar going on, again, you can go through it just like Annette does. I'll just walk you through how to do it. Okay, so what you're going to do then, Annette, and again, you can cut cords with someone even if you still love them. In fact, that's why you cut cords with someone,
Yeah.
okay? To permanently release them, and or to permanently release you from the need to be in that loop with them. And then Annette just said here, he's not his best self, right? And so that's not your responsibility.
At all. Yeah. What's come up for me, I'll just share as well, is that the 26,000-year reincarnation cycle that we've been on, where we've been unbeknownst to us. And so we're now becoming aware of all that, and it's for us to clear and clean and change.
Mhm.
So our ancestors would probably not have known this,
No.
whereas we've become awake to it because this is the time of change. Yeah, so we
So
are the ones that
we're
can break
cleanup
that.
crew. We're cleanup.
Exactly. We're the ones that can break all of this.
Yes, yes. Okay. So what you're going to do then is just, you can keep your eyes closed or open. It's totally up to you. And then what you're going to want to do, and so what I bring in when I do any of this is just a violet flame. So my pendulum spirals around counterclockwise. And so this is just a reflection of the violet flame and the energy that's spiraling as a vacuum. Okay, so you can just imagine that vacuum going up and down, clearing your energetic bodies and fields, your emotional bodies and fields. Yeah, she says I can feel his emotions. So that's what we're doing here with this violet flame. And please remember to breathe in through the nose, breathe in light, and then breathe out out through the mouth, breathing any other emotions of any living human beings that you might have been absorbing, but specifically whoever this person is that you're corded to. And then what you're going to do is you're going to imagine literally like an umbilical cord between you. And then you're going to say their name. Okay, so say that person's name. Thank you for showing me. This is very much like Ho'oponopono. Thank you for showing me that this belief I have, that I have to save you, or that you have to save me, or that we are meant to be together or meant not to be together. This belief, thank you for showing me. Thank you for showing this, whatever it is about myself. Maybe it's that you don't value yourself or you don't think you deserve someone to love you without needing unconditionally. There's so many things that this other person's teaching you. So really deep down and think about it. How has this relationship taught you? What is it showing you? And then really acknowledge this other person. Maybe it's showing you that you carry a lot of anger. Maybe it's showing you that you have walls and mounds of shame and guilt that still need to be released from your bodies and fields that have nothing to do with this relationship. So thank that person. Okay, if it's relevant, not always is, I love you and I know you were doing the best that you could. The I know that you were doing the best that you could is relevant every single time. Instead of I love you, you can say I appreciate you. Okay, although love is the highest vibration. Okay, and then the other highest vibration is I forgive you and please forgive me. Because if you're in a relationship and it's an unhealthy cord, you both have them. Okay, so it has nothing to do with what you've done to each other or the other has been done to. It's please forgive me and I forgive you because you both have energetic cords. And I cut these cords of attachment now. And I release you from all contracts and all karmic loops across all space, time, and universes. And I release you with love. And then you can say goodbye, or you can just say, I love you and thank you if it's someone who's still in your life. Because those people in your life also you still need to cut cords with on a regular basis. And then just breathe and imagine those cords just sort of vanishing and disappearing. And then take that deep breath in. And then just imagine that there's a white light salve moving in over top of where the cord of attachment was. Okay, good. And then another really nice thing to do after that is to just imagine brightening your auric field. So some of you can see auras, some of you perceive auras, some of you hear. If you don't, just imagine bright, bright white light or multicolored light just surrounding your body. And that, my friends, is your protection. There we go. Okay, and now what you can do is you can ask the questions, have I successfully broken the cord of attachment with this person? Yes or no? And you can also say, have I also removed any contracts that are not for my greatest and highest good as it relates to this person? Okay. And then the whole piece of feeling his emotions, again, making sure that you're doing this work on a daily basis is really what I recommend right now. Energetic hygiene is so, so very important right now. So I hope that helped, Annette. Do we get any comment there? I can't see.
Oh, there's not, well, there wasn't one I looked just now. Just,
I don't, is this Annette? Yeah, there's a block also, Annette. It's impacting your throat chakra. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and release this from your throat chakra too. So your throat chakra is related to speaking your truth or being heard. So that also needed a little bit of love here. So I'm just clearing that now for you, Annette. And just receive this. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this just means that you weren't using your voice as it relates to this situation. So that's another message. Please try to use your voice. It says no to the questions. Hmm. That's probably why they had they told me about the throat chakra. Okay. Yeah, we have to clear something out of the throat chakra. And we're also clearing parallel timelines with you. A little bit more advanced than a simple cord cutting.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and do that because I was alerted to it because of you saw when my throat went like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that pretty much means that I need to do something about it, or spirit wouldn't let me know that there's something there. Okay, so I'm just clearing that now for you. Okay, and I'm just going to cut any other cords of attachment now that are affecting you, that are not for your greatest and highest good. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and clear any and all, this is not fear-based, but any and all spell casting or cursing or black magic that may also be affecting you. And when this comes in, it's only coming in because when we're vibrating low, it's almost like we're open season for
We
lower
pick it up.
vibration energy. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like when you're really ill, you get more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So in that, honestly, I'd recommend like a full clearing and, session. But I think this is going to help you a little bit. Okay. And there's some ropes and cords being pulled out of here too. I do think that this relationship is also a bigger imprint or a bigger, probably past life that still needs to be looked at. And it's also based on a pattern in your life, in your current life. So look at the relationship. Is it like a pattern for you? Because this is what I'm getting. And it has to do with your throat chakra. So speaking your truth, being in your truth, being in your power, using your voice. So I'm getting that that's what this relationship is actually showing you. Okay. But in general, um, when we're in gratitude for whatever we're moving through, instead of anger and regret and guilt and shame, it's going to help you keep your vibration high and move through it much quicker. And then these cords can't reattach themselves, and then you're not going to get psychic attacks like the one you just had. Okay, it's a pattern. Yeah. So she says she's confirming it's a
Yeah.
pattern.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised, again, like I said at the beginning, this is the time of the world right now that your major patterns are going to come up.
And that will be the same for many watching. These things will resonate. It's like when you go to a spiritual service and someone gets a message and you don't, but quite often the message is for you as well. So
Yes, there were many here with all of what we've done today
absolutely, yeah.
that will receive healings, activations, messages, and use that body pendulum, or your goosebumps, or, however you truth test to ask, was this also for me?
Lovely. We're almost at 8 o'clock. A really quick one,
Mm,
Alicia. A friend yesterday, um, she was in deep, deep distress all over Facebook. She had been taken, so just to start this, enjoying 10 minutes of freedom upstairs watching the sunset. I'm in a psyche ward for 3 days after the judge confirms I'm mentally stable to leave. I made tea for the host and discussed his dog routine for today. I did the dog routine, and then the next thing I know, the cops are at the door arresting me for trespassing. And then she's gone into a real loop of fear, of course, and she's asking for support. And she feels calmer today. Um, the doctor said I was manic and they are forcing me to take meds. I do need support urgently. That was yesterday. And then 4 hours ago, oh no, that was 4 hours ago. But she seems calmer now. The latest, she's just asking for any help.
mm,
She's in the Netherlands
mm,
and she thought she was safe, but she's not.
mm. Okay. So in general, we can just sort of clear the energy around her.
Hmm.
Okay. So I want to say something about this because I think it's important. When people are experiencing a quick awakenings, okay, so or a quick spiritual upgrades or conscious upgrades, or
Mm-hmm.
um, this is actually very common to have sort of manic behaviors, okay,
Right.
because your brain, especially those of you who, if you are going through some sort of spiritual activation, download, I call it like, little awakenings, um, your bodies and fields aren't used to it, your mind isn't used to it, okay? And so it often can cause manic and or strange behavior or erratic behavior, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in it, um, there's a fear as well. There can be like a fear that everyone's out to get you. And I know this sounds
Yes.
like mental health issues, but this happens more than you can imagine to regular everyday people who may
Mm.
just be having some sort of activation, okay?
Yeah,
Or
because she is
or
very awake and
yeah.
aware.
Yeah. So there could just be something kind of going on. I'm getting a yes with her. There is definitely some sort of interference happening. Definitely. Um, but she's definitely going through like a heightened time of activation, and that's what's kind of causing this. But it can send you into mania. It can do some strange things.
She's had some very good advice about not talking so much, keeping calmer, yeah,
Yes,
breathing.
yes, yes. Knowing that this will pass, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But also, um, and your ego, it's hard for the ego because the ego wants to say no, but this is really what's happening, or I'm getting this, or I really know I'm in danger, right? Like the ego wants to sort of convince those around you that you're not crazy, okay?
Yeah.
However, the best thing to do with that, to add to that advice, is to breathe and just stay, because what you really need is to support your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, who is reacting to the stimulus,
Yes.
right? So, to keep yourself calm and not to feel like you have to explain yourself, answer questions. And I will say, for some of us, for some people, some sort of, medication may actually help to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so don't be afraid of that, because that can also be a challenge and a problem, because some people really do need an antipsychotic to calm it down.
Yeah.
Okay, is more harm than good can come of it.
I
Okay.
mean, it was absolute trauma, really, because she would not knowing anything like this was going to happen. She's been accused of trespassing, even though she was with a host who was she was helping, as
Mm,
she thought.
yes. Okay, so really the only thing that you can do in a situation like that is know that you don't have to explain yourself. Understand that you are in some sort of activated response to something, okay? Whether it's perceived fear or real fear or something coming from a different reality. I mean, you never know. So keeping yourself in a calm state, making sure that you have someone near you that will support you and not judge you. That's something else that's important. And
She's
then
saying the people on the ward with her are actually quite nice.
I'm sure they are. Yeah. So she just might need, and I'm getting this, she might actually just need kind of a little bit of rest, like to calm
Yes.
her brain and sleep is what I'm
Oh,
getting.
because why is this happening for me, not to me?
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
So I heard right now timeout.
Right.
And if she's having any kind of activation, which I'm perceiving that she is,
Mm-hmm.
she will need to recalibrate. And so fighting it or trying to get out of the situation or being anxious about it will do you no good.
Yes.
Okay, but it will pass, and it will pass faster if she can stay calm, centered, breathing, and then just again asking those questions. I know this is happening for me.
Mm.
Thank you. I know I will know why eventually. There's always a reason. There's
Always a reason. Yes.
always a reason.
And she has
And
had some very, very good advice, lawful advice. So, yes. Okay,
good.
that's lovely. Thank you, Alicia.
Okay. So yeah, I think this is good. This is good advice for everybody, just to, wherever possible, try not to spin in the chaos.
Yes.
Whether the chaos is happening within your relationships or within the world or perceivingly to you, right? It's to really stay grounded, breathe,
Mm,
and know it will pass.
yes. Do you know, just yesterday morning, my son goes to work so we're sat in the lounge at 10 to 6 in the morning. He leaves at 10 past 6. He looked at his phone, and the chap they're going on a stag do with next weekend to Benidorm, 30 of them, men, um, finds out that the hotel they've booked into doesn't take stag parties.
Oh,
And my son is the best man for this wedding.
oh no.
And like, I knew he'd go into a spin, because I would go into a spin in that situation. And how ridiculous. I would not have given this advice to myself, but I just said to him, just tap, because it had gone on to the live 30 people advice thing. So he had 30 opinions going on as well as to what should be done about it. And I said, just go on there and put, this will all get sorted out today. Don't panic. All in hand. All good. And I was thinking, that's nothing like I'd be feeling, to be honest. But it just calmed him down a bit. And it,
Yeah,
sure enough, it all got sorted yesterday
of
perfectly.
course. And
And
it always
even
does.
better. It looks
Yeah.
even better than what they did have.
And it always will.
Yes.
Yeah. And you can always look back at your own life, to all of the situations in your life that you thought were like the world was ending or the sky
Yes.
was falling. And we can look back now, that's what time gives us, and see, why or how that happened
Yes.
to
Yes.
shape where you are today.
Perfect. Yeah.
Every single time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Of course, you don't see it at the time, but hindsight is a wonderful thing.
it really is.
Thank
Yes.
you so much, Alicia. Are you closing us down for this?
I I am. So just bring your attention back to your heart the way we began. One more time, just call back all your energy. We've kind of been all around today. So just imagine calling back all of your energy into this now moment. Find your breath, find your peace, find your gratitude even for bringing you here today. Maybe just scan your body. Just feel any shifts that may have been made. And then just really find your breath and bring yourself back into your heart. And I ground all of this in. And I ask that it all be permanent and sustainable for all involved. And I ask that all of this healing and these activations be received with ease and grace. And with so much love and gratitude to all who assisted. And so it is. Thank you. And there we go.
Thank you.
Always remember to call back your energy.
Thank you so much, Alicia. I love these sessions.
This one was a lot of actual energetic clearing work.
Gosh, yeah, yeah. And I feel really needed. So thank you. Thank
Mm.
you, anyone watching.
Thanks,
As always,
everybody. We'll see you again.
no doubt. Okay, lots of love.
Bye.
I've stopped the live stream. Are you still here, Alicia? No, she's gone. Stop the recording.